Okay, that's it, Brother Carson. Thank you. All right, what we have on the screen now is a questionnaire or maybe a test for you. What I like to do is if we take just a few moments to look at the slide, we have 8 questions, and we have a scoring system from 0 to 3. 0 is never, 1 is sometime, 2 is most of the time, and 3 almost always. And you see the questions, and I want you to think about this, and I need somebody to score this test. If it applies to you, please score, please. Do you bet more than you can afford to lose? Have you tried to win back money you have lost? Have you borrowed money or sold anything to get money to gamble? Have your gambling caused you any health problems, including feelings of stress and anxiety? Have other people criticized your betting or told you that you had a gambling problem, regardless to whether you thought it was true? Have your gambling caused any financial problems for you or your household? Have you ever felt guilty about the way you gamble or what happens when you gamble? Have you ever wondered whether you had a gambling problem with gambling? So I need somebody to tell me, as I was going through it and you was looking at the screen, did anybody score 8 on this questionnaire as you was adding up the things? 0 is never, 1 is sometime, 2 is most of the times, and 3 is almost always. Can anybody share with us if you scored an 8 or above, please? Nobody?
Can I say I scored according to what I've seen my sister experience,
Oh, okay, that's good,
and
sis.
according
Please. Thank you. Go ahead.
okay,
That's
I
good.
scored according to what I know my sister experienced,
Yes, ma'am.
and she scored all of them. Everything that you said, it was an 8 or higher, according to what I've seen my
Yes,
sister go through.
yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing that, because that when you see someone, or this questionnaire just sort of put into perspective when people is wrestling with whether or not they're having a gambling problem or not. If you scored 8 or above, then you need to seek help. And we wanted to open
I
this
still can
session
hear
here
something.
up with the scoring of the test, because if you scored 8 or above, we are asking you to see your EAP or ESSP rep in the workplace or any other program where you can get some help. Okay, next slide. We're asking you to please share this information, because if you know someone have a problem and you just ask these questions here, that will help them to understand that, yes, it may be time for me to get help. And one of the other things, when you get help, it takes away you being hostage to shame or stigma or any other discrimination because of the addiction of gambling. It is at this point you can take charge of your life and start on the road of recovery. You are saying no to addiction and yes to recovery. So if you know of anyone that you think you need to share this questionnaire with, share it with them and have a dialogue with them, and see can you get them to reach out to someone to get them some help. Okay, next slide, please. This is a self-help tip for problem gamblers. You must train yourself first to fight off the temptation. And here are some do's and don'ts. Pay important bills first, such as your mortgage on payday. Before you gamble, pay your car note, utility bills, food, or your household or other important obligations, etc. Recognize your partner's good qualities. Spend more time with family and friends who do not gamble. Explain problem gambling to children. Deal with your debts rather than ignoring them. Seek the support of others with similar problems. Attend a self-help group for family. Remain calm when speaking to a person with a gambling disorder. And here's some of the don'ts. View gambling as a way to make money. Try to see it as entertainment. Bottle up your worries about gambling. Talk to someone. Seek professional help, please. Bail out the gambler is a no-no. Take credit cards with you when you have a gambling addiction. We asking you not to take credit cards with you or your debit card with you when you go to the casinos. If you try to set a goal, if you just have to do that, try to set a goal saying, I'm going to take $20 or $50, whatever that number is, but please leave your credit cards at home. Don't preach, lecture, or allow yourself to lose control of your anger when counseling. Expect immediate recovery or that all problems will be resolved when the gambling stops. As you know, it's just like anything else in life. We still are faced with challenges with whatever we do in life. So just because you get your gambling under control don't mean all problems will stop. There are obstacles that we have to deal with on a daily basis. Next slide, please. And so here's some things that, according to the gambling addiction, some of the common signs of gambling addiction include lying or hiding gambling activity, needing to gamble with increased amount of money, often gambling when feeling distressed, unsuccessful attempts to control, cut back, or stop, delusion or hallucination, withdrawal from social activity, feeling restless or irritable when unable to gamble, gambling to escape problems or release negative emotion, resort to crimes such as forgery, fraud, theft, embezzlement, and other criminal activity. Because when you get desperate for money, you tend to get involved with criminal activities that you know is not right. So we ask you to please make sure that you take under consideration when you start to have problems, you have to get professional help. Attempting to get back money you lost in gambling, placing increasingly large bets, or taking increasingly dangerous risks, jeopardizing important relationships or opportunity, acting secretive, defensive about one gambling activity, relying on others to help with money problems caused by gambling. Because we know that once you get in trouble with your gambling activities, you then think you should get help, or anybody or everybody should help you uh, solve other problems that you have. For example, paying house notes, car notes, and that type thing. So we asking you to please make sure that you ask for professional help. And for our membership, for the UAW membership, we have programs that we have negotiated, and you keep hearing us speak about EAP, ESSP, and other programs in the workplace that can help you with your gambling problem. And it's also been said that between $40,000 and $70,000 is what some of the problems when you get it really in trouble with gambling, you make those kind of debts between $40,000 and $70,000. Next slide, please. And here we wanted to look at some of the treatment for gambling addiction. Some people can stop gambling on their own, but many people need help to address their gambling problem. Only 1 in 10 people with gambling disorder seek treatment. Just think about that. 1 in 10 seek treatment. So there's a lot of people out there that's hurting. So we ask you, if you know of anybody, a family member, a co-worker, a friend, we asking you to help them get help And that means that we have programs, and there's other programs in the community where you can get help. The therapy treatment. Gambling affects people in different ways. Different approaches may work better for different people. Several types of therapy are used to treat gambling disorder, including cognitive behavior therapy, psychodynamic therapy, group therapy, family therapy, psychoanalysts, psychologists, psychiatrists, and clinical counseling. Counseling can help people understand gambling and think about how gambling affects them in their lives. Support from families and friends can be critical to a person recovering from gambling. However, only the individual can decide to stop the behavior. So here are some things that counseling can help with. Counseling can help you gain control over your gambling, heal family relationship, deal with your urge to gamble, handle stress and other problems, find other things to do with your time and put your finances in order and maintain recovery and avoid triggers. And so it's important that you get counseling because we know that once you start to experience problem with gambling, your rational and logical thoughts actually disappears in most cases. So if you know of anyone that cannot reach out for themselves, work to try to encourage them and find out who is closest to them that you can get help to get these people to some professional help. Next slide, please. Here are the strategies to deal with craving. Refer our members to EAP and ESSP program. Reach out for support. Call a trusted friend, a family member. Go to Gambling Anonymous meeting. Distract yourself with other activities. Postpone gambling. Giving yourself time may allow the urge to pass or weaken. Ask the person to stop for a moment and consider what will happen when you gamble. Avoid isolation. Isolation is bad. And of course, we in this pandemic area that we've been in lockdown almost 2 years. We're right at 2 years. So I know it's been hard on people that have any type of addiction. So we ask you, when you know someone have a problem, and since we're talking about gambling today, we have to show support to these brothers and sisters that need help. And we also have some help numbers, 1-800-662-HELP. That's a national hotline that can help people. And we also say to you, always, always ask your union for help because of the excellent workplace programs that can come to your aid when you are experiencing a time of stress that negatively impact your normal functioning or relationship. Next slide. So this slide here deal with our members that work in the gaming industry. And according to the American Psychiatrists Association Diagnostics and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorder, a gambling disorder is a behavior addiction which can result in psychological harm. The psychological harm represents a health and safety risk for employees, creating an obligation on employers to address gambling in the workplace. To fulfill their duties or care, an employer should eliminate or reduce the likelihood of problems or risk gambling in the workplace. And of course, we have also outlined here some of the problems that members that works in the gaming industry actually have. And it's some of the same problem we have, whether you're in the auto section, the aerospace section, the IP section, TOP, or any section of our union. There are some common problems that you have. Some casino employees suffer from alcoholism, drug abuse, marital, interpersonal relationship problems, eating disorder, and etc. The emphasis is on thinness. The showgirls and waitress who have to wear skimpy costumes. Some casinos, which operate under strict licensing laws, have been reluctant to acknowledge alcohol or drug among their employees. There's still only a few that have programs to assist employees with personal problems. Alcohol, drug, divorce is a part of the casino lifestyle. And as I said earlier, it's also a part of every lifestyle, regardless of what job you have. All of those things that I just outlined is a part of the lifestyle, particularly when we move in a fast-paced country like the one we live in. Next slide, please. And here are some of the guidelines for employees. It is important for employees to promote responsible gambling by adhering to a set of guidelines. And these guidelines just sort of lay out some things that we ask that you not mislead people or take people down the wrong road. Don't encounter patrons to play longer or for higher stakes. Don't feel patrons' superstitions or myth about gambling, such as machines or hot or cold. Practice make perfect. You are lucky today. I'll watch the machine while you take a break. Patrons can control the outcome of the game. Those are some of the things that, and I'm not saying none of our members do it, but from time to time, as you encounter or get to know folks that's working inside of these casinos and other places that you may go to wage bets and that type thing, you have to be careful that you not let someone lead you down the wrong road by telling you a machine is hot today, because it might have hit for the last 3 hours, and of course you sit down to try to make the machine hit for you, and you leave there less than $3,000 or $300. So please don't fall into those traps. When asked, provide accurate information, such as gambling is a game of chance, the art of any given game, and of course I gave you some statistics the other day where 1 in 49 million chances of you winning on the slot machine. So you have to also take under consideration those odds that you are against when you start to try to gamble. A slot machine payout is random. In the long run, the odds of winning are against you. And when someone tells you that, you have to take that to heart. In the long run, the odds of winning are against you. So we ask you not to think that you somehow have some type of magic bullet that you're going to win today no matter what. And of course, that's when you get in trouble, when you don't take sound advice when someone give you advice. Next slide, please. The guidelines for employees: establish clear policy regarding gambling by employees. It is important for your casino to establish clear policies regarding employee gambling at your facility. While it is best to prohibit such activities, if your casino policy permit gambling by employees, the following are some of the considerations to include in your policy. Employees must not gamble when in uniform. Employees may not gamble when wearing their gaming license identification. Employees may not gamble when on the clock or acting as a representative of the casino. Employees are prohibited from accessing online gambling sites at work. What should gaming operators know about employee problems? Assuring employees that if they enter into treatment, it will not result in negative repercussions such as being fired or demoted because of the problem with gambling. Restrict or reduce employee access to personal cash. Paychecks should not be receivable in cash. do not cash employees' paychecks at the casino, and do not provide pay advances. Those are some of the guidelines for our members that's working inside casinos. Those are some of the things that your employees should actually set up so that you don't get in trouble, because if you have a gambling problem, when you got cash in your hand, it's hard to walk out that door if you have a gambling addiction. So those are some of the things that we actually want to make sure that your employee set up some type of system where it protects you and your family. Next slide, please. And here are some things that from time to time you realize that there's something going on to keep you coming to the casino. And of course, I know some of you have heard family members, I don't know if anyone on the line, but family members that might have what they call a player's card. They give you special things that you can get in the casino, whether it's food or they fly you. Some people is big time gamblers, so they fly them to wherever the facilities are. So the player's card gets you some perks in when you in a casino. And so what keeps you in your seats at casinos? What keeps you in your seats at casinos is multi-layered. It is your free hotel rooms upgrade, free comps or discount meals deals provided at the house restaurant, and yes, what some people see at the as a big deal would keep them in their seats and slot machines or blackjack tables, the cocktail waiters or waitress asking you, what free drink would you like to partake in? Yes, all of this to keep you in your seats at the slot machines or roulette tables, video poker tables, and etc. The practice of mixing alcohol and gambling can be a bad combination for you and your family well-being. The practice of mixing alcohol and gambling can be a bad combination for you and your family well-being. So according to the dietary guidelines for American 2020 to 2025, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and U.S. Department of Agriculture, and here I want to define what binge drinking is. For a typical adult, this pattern corresponds to consuming 5 or more drinks for a male or 4 or more drinks for a female in a 2-hour period. They call that binge drinking. Just think about those times and that maybe if you went to a gaming facility and they keep feeding you those drinks, you can get in trouble. Heavy drinking is having 4 drinks on any given day or more than 14 per week for a male, or 3 drinks on any given day or more than 7 drinks per week for a female. Alcohol is a depressant, meaning it can disrupt the balance of the transmitters, chemical messages in your brain, and after you affect your feeling, thoughts, and behavior. After a drink or two, you may feel relaxed, less anxious, and more confident because alcohol affects the part of your brain that control inhibition. This is exactly what casinos want you to feel. Because when you start to feel relaxed, they know then that for you to sit in your seat for 2 hours, 3 hours, 6 hours, when you start feeling relaxed, that means that you're going to gamble until all of your money is gone. Alcohol and gambling can be the 1-2 punch that can cause the downfall of your career, family life, health, and well-being. Sisters and brothers, if you have problems with alcohol and or gambling, we are asking you to contact your EAP or ESSP or any other employee program in order to get professional mental health counseling or treatment. we always have to make sure that we actually refer our members to the EAP or ESSP program or whatever they call that program in the workplace that you work in. Next slide, please. Gambling is the hidden addiction. Problem gambling is often referred to as the hidden addiction because there are no physical warning signs to test for. Problem gambling, it can be very difficult to spot, so it may be difficult to know if someone is struggling with this and may have suicidal ideations. In addition to struggling with gambling, they may be struggling with other mental health problems such as mood disorder like depression, personality disorder, anxiety, bipolar disorder, substance abuse, or financial problems. September is Suicide Prevention Month. Problem gambling has the highest suicide rate among all addiction. Let me repeat that. Problem gambling has the highest suicide rate among all addiction. It has been found that 37% of those struggling with problem gambling and 49% of those with psychological gambling disorder have suicide ideations. Statistics also show that 17% of the problem gamblers and 18% of those with gambling disorders attempt suicide. The National Council on Problem Counseling 2020 says that an estimated 2 million adults struggle with problem gambling disorder, while another 46 million struggle with problem gambling. The UK gambling charity Gamma Awareness Fund found that problem gambling was 6 times more likely to have suicidal thoughts or try to take their own lives and would be 15 times more likely to do so. So it's something that we have to always take under consideration. Our members that have problem gambling and or family members or your friends or community members, we have to make sure we watch them close and do everything in our power to get them help. Because you just saw some of those things and you see what's on the slide now. They are 15 times more likely to take their lives. So we have to watch them very, very closely. Next slide, please. And you can see here is gambling a mental illness? And of course, this just sort of outline says most common name used to describe excessive involvement in gambling or gambling disorder, pathological gambling, or compulsory gambling. To be precise, compulsory gambling is a progressive addiction that occasionally classified as an impulse control disorder. Gambling or any other addiction can be harmful to one's physical or psychological health. Gambling Anonymous. Around 80 to 90% of Gambling Anonymous attendees admitted to engaging in illegal acts to get gambling money. Data from Gambling Anonymous also showed that around 63% of members reported writing bad checks. And sisters and brothers, that's a difficult situation because once you start writing bad checks, that affects your credit rating across the board and of course lead to other things that can create a problem within your family. And so here's also some things that why some people that have disorders, people's brains are designed to seek rewards. And of course, this psychologist that did this study, a primitive part of the human brain is still hardwired to their immediate reward buzz. As such, some people tend to gamble to eventually win, and some of our brains get the dopamine buzz. So that's one of the things that you're always looking to get that dopamine buzz, regardless of what it is. It don't have to be gambling. There are people that hunt. when they get the trophy that they trying to get, that sets up the dopamine buzz. So we asking you to make sure that uh, you have to find other ways to get that buzz rather than gambling, because that can lead to some terrible things. Next slide, please. Here, this slide talks about superstition, gambling superstition. Now, you may call it anything that you like, but according to the American Psychology Association, many people know that their superstition rituals or beliefs are disconnected from reality. Superstition is the belief that a given action can bring good luck or bad luck, even when there is no rational grounds for the belief. These behaviors are simple ways of soothing anxiety or preparing your brains to concentrate so you can have a feeling of control over the unknown. One of the things that you have to realize is that whatever you think about gonna make you lucky today, you have to be careful about those things when you go to uh, a gaming outlet, because as you know, the odds are against you. And so here are some of the things that happen in that process. Uh, Wearing red is probably the most widespread superstition in gaming. And of course, whatever your color is that you decide to wear, or whatever hat you decide to put on your head, or whatever you decide is your lucky charm, we have to be careful about those things because they can't change your odds, regardless to how you feel. Avoid counting your money at the table. They say you shouldn't count money or chips at the table. Uh, Lucky charms for gambling, and of course, rabbit foots, horseshoe, Foley's clover, that type of thing. Crossing your legs at the table. Itching hands, avoid entering through the front entrance, lending money to another player, or blowing on the dice. Those are some of the superstition traits that you actually see people go through. And of course, it don't have to be in a casino. You see some of the same things happening when people is betting on football teams. They wear certain things because they think that they'll assure them that their team is going to win that day. So that creates a problem. And we ask you to not rely on those superstitious things, because they can cause you to have financial problems and can cause you to have problems with your family and your job if you start not showing up on time and that type thing. Next slide, please.
Brother JD, we got 5 minutes.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I got two. I'm here. The next slide. The lights and noise that draws you to gambling. It's something about the sound that those those slot machines make. It's something about the sounds and those lights on the slot machine. So there's studies that has been done on it and continue to be done on it. Uh, a study found that pairing bells and whistles, which with losses, seem to cause participation to interpret losses as wins. So there are certain things that you thinking is not affecting you, but psychologically it's affecting you. It's called sensory stimulations. And that causes you to think you can't sometimes distinguish between your winning and losing because of the lights of the machine. Next slide, please. And so here are the things that we are dealing with now. And of course, there are problems with sports betting and mobile apps. And at least 11 states have launched an online mobile component. In May 2018, the United States Supreme Court overturned a 1992 law that prohibited states from legalizing sports gambling. And of course, now 30 states has sports betting, along with Washington, D.C. And of course, in the state where I'm from, and Elder Herb is from, Missouri is trying to get sports betting in our state also. So football betting, basketball, hockey, golf, the Kentucky Derby, soccer, baseball, and tennis all have some type of app where you can bet. And of course, betting in the moment is what this sports betting is going to create some problems for you. Next slide, please. When you look at legal sports betting apps, they are popping up all over the country. New states are legalizing and launching mobile betting. We will warn you, gambling problems can resort to crimes such as forgery, fraud, theft, and embezzlement and other criminal activity. Betting using apps is the thing of the future. They're exploding in growth. You will never have to leave the comfort of your own home. The computer in your hand, your cell phone, will give you the power to bet while the game is playing in the moment. You can wager bet. This will prove to be detrimental to some folks. Compulsory gambling will prove to be an uncontrollable urge to keep gambling despite the toll it will take on your life. Compulsory gambling is a serious condition that can destroy your life. So if you have a problem with gambling as a UAW member or family member, see your EAP or ESSP rep in the workplace or other programs that can help you professionally. Sisters and brothers, in my closing statement, I want to say to you how much I appreciate you, because one of the things, those of you that have known me over the years know that I prefer having a dialogue. That means questions and answers and you giving feedback. But Elder Herb wanted to make sure that we get as much of this information on these slides so that you could have a reference point later on. So I thank you for your patience. I thank you. Anybody have any questions or comments, please?
I have a comment.
Yes, sir.
I heard a casino investor and authority said that their goal was to put casinos within 100 miles of every city in the United States.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, and they growing everywhere too. And so that's why we have to make sure that we caution our sisters and brothers and family members to make sure that they get help when they need help. And as you can see, suicide is really the biggest among gambling, people that have gambling. And the president, in her presentation this morning, told us about some of the things that she see in her workplace. And we have to make sure that we help our members, because we have members that work in other workplaces that go into the casinos where we have members working there. And we have to make sure that we actually help protect our members as they go in and out these facilities.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I really enjoyed the presentation, but a lot of times it's just almost like you say, it's like a drug. But that person, you can send them this place, that place to get help. They've got to want it.
Yes,
They've got to seek in their heart. I need help. I'm messed up inside. I need someone to help me get this urgent to go to these gambling places and lose all my money, can't pay my mortgage. They got to want it.
Yes. Yes, thank you. And I agree with that 100%. Those are some of the things, as you know, you might not have a gambling problem, you might not have a drug problem, you might not have a alcohol problem, but you might have a shopping problem. So whatever you have that's causing you to be addicted, we are asking you to get help. And yes, sister, you're absolutely 100% correct, because you're in denial. We have to make sure we understand that they are in denial. And that's why we have to continue to help them. Here's the one other thing I want to say. Sometime in the era that we're living in right now you send texts and email. There's nothing more powerful than the human's voice. The human voice. God did that for a reason. Children now are sitting in the room and texting people that's sitting right side of them. And so when you don't hear that human voice, you say, well, I sent them a text to check on them. They just said, I'm fine. But you didn't hear their voice. There's something we've been wired to hear a human voice. We can tell when somebody's having a problem. So let me encourage you, not only send them a text or email, but you have to hear their voice and they have to hear your voice. That's important regardless to what other form of communication you have. The human voice is the most powerful thing that you could ever come in contact with. Next, anybody
Thank you,
else?
Brother JD.
Yes, sir. Thank
JD,
you,
I'm
Elder.
gonna have to come in and interrupt.
Elder,
got-
let me, Elder, please, can I say one more thing, please? I
Just
think,
one more, JD, just
yes,
one
sir.
more, just
Yes,
one
sir.
more.
I thank brother Jerry Carson for helping me work through this process. So I thank him so much for his dedication. And I thank you, Elder Herb, for the opportunity to being a part of this.
Thank you, JD Chaplain. Let's celebrate Brother JD Gray for that powerful presentation.
Powerful. Thank you,
Powerful. And I just wanted